Mm-hmm. He's gonna, oh, play my music. No, come on. Fix my banner.
No breaks, little. Oh gas, no breaks, little, no. Drift through life with a fearless tone. Every move
See,
custom, every
where's
vibe
my...
is on. Not just a car, it's a way of life. Precision, passion, cutting like a knife. Headlights blaze through the doubt and fear. He's the one they watch, the one they cheer. So buckle up tight, let the legend grow. You're in the fast lane with Little Door. Red line dreams, we don't slow though down. Engine roar when we hit your town.
Where is my damn... I know it's over here. I put it there myself. Where is it? Well, that's some shit. Let me go see if I can find it over here.
Pulling up clean in a GL whip. Kenny Red Flash with a turbo kick. Little Red, oh yeah, the name's on fire. Burning up the road, taking dreams higher. 0 to 100, no time to stall. Every frame, every post, yeah, he does it all. From the streets to the screen, he's got that glow. Welcome to the ride, it's Lil Red, oh. Red line dreams, we don't slow down. Engine roar when we hit your town. Missing stars so sharp like a midnight show. Oh gas, no brakes, little no. Oh gas, no brakes, little no.
Yes.
Drift through life with a fearless tone. Every move custom, every vibe is on. Not just a car, it's a way of life. Precision, passion, cutting like a knife. Headlights blaze through the doubt and fear. He's the one they watch, the one they cheer. So buckle up tight, let the legend grow. You're in the fast lane with Lil Door.
Oh, don't do that. Need to get this thinking. All right, here we go. Let's get over here. Whoops. Where is it?
Red line dreams, we don't slow though down. Engine roar.
All right, all right. We are going to go live. Let me get this little thing off of here right quick. We're going to talk about this crazy Gypsy Rose and the ridiculousness of all the people that seems to be in her life now, and how the hell did they all end up there? I mean, what a freak situation. I mean, it really, really is. Every single day, there's something coming out there every single day. And now look at Bree. Let's talk about Bree again, which is her number one NumbNut. Arrested again. Again. You know why? She's missed 6 times she should have reported to court and did not report to court since she got arrested the first time over the drugs. Now, you know you need to go to court. Why aren't you going? Are you going to tell us you got a broke down car? I mean, what's it going to be? You know, what's it going to be? Let me pull something up over here that I need to split my screen for just a minute while I pull this up. There we go. Yeah. All right. Now I have this thing over here. Now here we go. Let's see. Did it pull it up? I think it did. Yeah. All right. Okay. Oh, here we go. Yes, this is exactly what I wanted. Right here. I think I can put this on my copy. Put this on my teleprompter thingy here. Let's get this on our notes. It might be too big. I'm not sure. Okay, we're good. All right, now what I want to do is Get rid of that part, but keep the Snapchat open. All right, there we go. Keep that part open. Okay, now we all know that Gypsy Rose Blanchard, the original freak herself, since the prison release on December 28th of 2023, the media has formed a split moral narrative about this 32-year-old murderer and her accomplice, because she is a murderer. Most of the contrary lies not in whether or not the masses believe it was just for her to be released from prison, but whether or not she should be receiving the amount of attention that she is. That is the controversy and the question. And what makes it worse is the fact that you have all these freaks that she surrounded herself with, egging her on, egging her on. Now, we know that Gypsy Rose Blanchard has a mental disorder along with other things, and she's basically a sociopath, to be honest with you. She's a sociopath. So we have that. Let me make sure my earbuds are working properly. They are. Okay, good. So we have that. That's one thing. And then we have all the people that she has surrounding her that, quite frankly, she manipulates every single day. See, Gypsy Rose will never change. What she will always be the same. She cannot see, sadly, she cannot see what she is doing. I think, I don't know if she doesn't care or she can't see it or nobody's calling her out on it within her family. Because, when you listen to some of these things and you listen to Ken, she killed her own mother. Well, by God. And he's acting like he was so stupid not to see all the things that Dee was doing. But he's acting like he didn't know Gypsy could walk and all that, which is absolutely a lie. Every one of those people knew. They all knew she could walk. There's nothing wrong with her. I mean, there was things wrong with her, but literally not to the extent that they were claiming was wrong with her. How do you sit there on a stage and receive an award in front of all of these people who truly do have these medical conditions, who truly could use some help, who truly would like to have a better life? How do you sit there in that wheelchair the whole time, knowing it's a fraud, and start collecting all these things? But what makes me kind of sick about it, and I'm not picking on Dee Dee, I'm really not, but I'm going to talk about her for a second. Dee Dee, when they were at this thing, it was for what is it? I'm getting on sidetracked. Anyway, when she was getting this award, and Dee Dee says, "I was born to be your mama," right? Okay, remember that statement? Right then, they both knew right then what they were doing, both of them. I think that Dee Dee I don't think Dee Dee realized to the extent of how much she was getting played, but she knew she was getting played. I mean, she knew she was getting played to some extent. I think she does. I mean, if you actually paid attention to your children, you would know these things, right? So, but one of the problems here is that since the Hulu Limited series and the act from 2019, this empathy for Gypsy has blossomed into some psychological and lawful discourse. I mean, Gypsy's mother, Dee Dee, did not suffer from Munchausen. There's no way you can do that. According to the Mayo Clinic, Munchausen by proxy is just a behavioral disorder that afflicts a caretaking individual with a hunger for specific attentions that manifests itself into a form of exaggerating health complications of the person in their care. Now, Gypsy Rose portrayed for most of her childhood that she was critically ill, with all these different things, right? I know her mother was telling her some of these things, but she knew she could walk. And when she got old enough to start questioning me, here's what I'm going to say. I'm not going to say that Dee Dee never participated in maybe a little of exaggerating, but it was nowhere near Munchausen, right? So after she got old enough to realize that, hey, this is not right, at any point she could have stood up. Instead of writing the book Our Time to Stand, you should write the book I Should Have Stood Up. That's what the name of your book should have been. I Should Have Stood Up. So, she emotionally and physically, Dee Dee was very. Dee Dee also lived with a lot of trauma. Okay, so we all know that some psychopaths, some of these mental illnesses that rear its ugly head as people get older, actually stems from childhood trauma. And we all know that Dee Dee kind of had a little bit of a privileged life, but the one thing people don't talk about is the fact that the person that she lived with as her father was really not her father. Okay. Her real father actually had a criminal history. Now you've heard these situations where some of the mental disorders you're born with. Some of them you it happens from childhood trauma. So whether you're a sociopath or psychopath, it's that's kind of where we're coming with this. Her father, her real father, who was actually in prison, right? Uh, did she actually inherit the same mental disorder that her father did? When we're talking about Dee Dee right now, we're not talking about gyp shit. Okay. Now, when Gypsy was reloaded, and that's another part of this story that really doesn't get talked about very often. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to pull this back up to that part of the story so we can actually talk about that for just a second. I believe it's actually out here on Reddit. You have to excuse me. I have a little bit sore throat. I think I'm getting a little bit ill. So let me get this information pulled up. So Dee Dee Blanchard, hang on. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Friday. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. I'm so very excited. We're going to go see that movie, the Dracula movie tonight. It's actually hit Austin to the theaters today. So let me get this pulled up first, and we'll go ahead and talk about this. Dee Dee Blanchard's father. Here we go. Oh, okay. Okay. Now, people people sit around and they'll say, "Oh, but listen, Dee Dee was a predator." No, Dee Dee wasn't. Where that stems from is when Rod and Dee Dee met, and she was 24 and he was 17, and they decided to get married. I mean, she was in a relationship with a 17-year-old. She knew he was 17 and she was 24. She knew he was younger, right? So, I mean, he tells the story where he wakes up on his 18th birthday and realized that he wasn't where he was supposed to be. And so he wants to get out of the relationship, right? So there's people are calling her a predator for that. Now, in today's world, I mean, is back from then, it is when they got married then, and if they got married today, would she be a predator? The answer actually is yes. And I'll tell you why. Because the law says if anybody under an age, then you're a predator. You're not allowed to do that to children younger than you like that. Okay. So yes, she would be considered a predator. So now the other part of this is we're talking about who is Dee Dee's real father. Now that's a big, big story. Well, I gotta go find it again. Damn it, I thought it right. Let me pull it back up. All right. Oh my goodness. So she really would be. Um, there's also there's a bunch of different stories between the Blanchards, the Petries, and all of those people. Um, Actually, I mean, there's a lot of not so nice things that happened in that family. I mean, even the Petrie kid is a product of an inappropriate relationship. Okay, you don't get as the father-in-law, you don't impregnate your daughter-in-law. But that's exactly what happened here, and that's what happened to the one of them. So I mean, it is just all convoluted and all, it's a mess over there. So real hang on. Now, when Dee Dee was born, she was actually, this other person basically, I guess, claimed her, but that's really not who her father was. And this kind of story has came out too. So, okay, let's get this right. Now, she was born Claudine Petrie. Let's go. Come on, go. Come on. I got to get down to it. Dig deeper. Hang on. I had this over here. Let's see. Dig deeper. Hang on. All right. Okay, so, oh, all right. We'll do it that way. And as we talk about this, we'll talk about from when she was released from jail. I mean, it was just like this. She had, she had that 10-year sentence, but it was, she gets out on parole, and then there was just loads of media already going after Gypsy Rose, just already. I mean, I think, and here's the other thing about this: her attorney, Mike Stanfield, is basically still, oh wow, good news, is still her manager. That is who is her manager of record is. She says she doesn't have a manager, but he's never taken himself off of being her manager. So yes, he still is her manager. So I mean, all of this has been. Mike Stanfield knew that he could promote her and rake in the money because everything she did, he got a part of. He is part of the problem here. So we have Mike Stanfield, her manager, is part of the problem. He sold this. He sold this story to all these different people, right? Then we have Ken. We have Ken. We have Christy. We have Rod. They also knew that the story was going to be sold like that, and that they were going to basically make money off of it. So here's something interesting about this story. Well, it says there's no widely confirmed public reports of Dee Dee's father. However, Claude Petrie, serving lengthy prison sentence, he was faced with significant and criminal circumstances. So, Claude Anthony Petrie is on the sex offender registry. Okay, so he's sentenced to 2 years in 2018 for failing to report an address change from his original sex offender. There was abuse allegations, but we know that Gypsy Rose was lying about it. But there was always this family conflict going on between Claude Petrie and other family members, and they expressed that Dee Dee was a troubled person. But see, the thing is, Dee Dee wasn't the troubled person. Basically, they were. Okay, that's the problem with that. Okay, hang on. I have to answer my husband's. Okay, that's awesome. Okay. Let me let my husband know I'm doing this right now so he can quit texting me. Okay, so that is, I mean, there's just one of the issues here. But, Gypsy, now, we know that the people that are in her life now, they just sucked onto her. Here's the thing. What we don't know is did she intentionally reach out to certain people? Like, how did Bree get into her life? I want to know how Bree got into her life. Did they meet in jail? There's all kinds of things like that. I mean, she's received, you know, there are all kinds of other people now profiting off it. Gypsy Rose is still the cash cow. Now, sadly, Gypsy is still a cash cow if you stop and think about this. Because now there's all these other people making money off of her. Now, I mean, it's just something that happened. Should it have happened? No, absolutely not. People like her, no. There's this vicious cycle of glorification in the media, and it's just too much. I mean, it's not grounded in any. It's just a moral problem. Gypsy's life trauma and crime. She didn't have any trauma. That's kind of the problem here. Things just misidentify that, right? I mean, there's like, let me get back over here. By boiling her identity and experiences down to a television dramatization, she becomes dehumanized through a commodification, idolization. Joey King as Gypsy Rose in the act is not a representative of the real Gypsy Rose story. Now, we all know that, right? Now, you come on down here. Oh boy, here we go. Let me get this over here. I have this little thing that I've gotten written over here, and I have to copy it and put it over here in this into this teleprompter thing so I can read it to you guys, right? Hang on. I am going to show some videos today, and we are going to talk about Nick, and we are going to talk about Nick's attempts to get resentenced. Okay, let me take this off of here so I can put this on. All right, I think I can do it from right here. Hang on, paste. Okay. I mean, people have been Gypsy. People praise Gypsy, but for the wrong reason. It it's superficial. All of it's just superficial. It's all social media made up. It's all just for profit and gain. The idolizing culture of online impacts our perception and manipulates our judgment. So it's part of our problem too. The relationship between creator and consumer lies not in the content itself, but in what narratives we are pushing and the algorithms and altering our attitude towards this content. In this case, the content is Gypsy Rose's identity and her crime. The media expectations for her to continue this artificial idolization created through her character in that movie is just leaving her real life person to uphold these weird beliefs. And that kind of makes her relatable, right? And that should have never happened. But anyway, we're going to go back over here now, and we're going to start talking about. Let me turn this off over here, and I'm going to play something from YouTube. Remember Andrea Dunlap. Now, there's a new person that's hit the scene. Her name is Andrea Dunlap, and she's done a two-part discussion on Gypsy and the Munchausen by proxy that she claims that Dee Dee had. So we're going to go listen to part 2 for just a little bit because I think you've all seen part 1. I also want to go back to ABC 2020, okay? Because it's like multiple years. I mean, it goes from the beginning and just goes on. It's very straightforward. It gives us a lot more detail than if we just look at this person's and then that person's and then this person's. Let's go over here and look at this. I need to pull this up. Hang on. Now, this is ABC News. We're going to go back to part 1. Let's go back all the way to ABC News part 1. Now, this is a short, okay, this is a 6-minute video, and it's full courtesy or credit to ABC News. And this is information about her feeding tube. Now, this is 8 years old. But what I want to do is go all the way back and show you when you look at her, knowing what we know now, you can actually see her participating in the manipulation. And it is freaky. That's what I'm saying. It is freaky. So let me get this going for you. I need to share my screen. Hang on a minute. Let's share our screen so we can get this going. I started looking at this and I was really totally shocked that nobody noticed this when it was first happening. Nobody noticed that you could actually see her in the manipulation. Watch. Okay. Now.
Home movies capture the vibrant spirit of a young teenage girl.
So where are you going today?
I'm going to Children's Mercy Hospital to see my dentist for my teeth.
Okay, when you look at that picture right there and she's laying okay, you could totally tell she was much older. You could totally see it. I mean, I could see it. Here, let's play a little bit more of it.
Full of enthusiasm and
Yeah, that picture she's
but
not.
Behind the smiles, life for Gypsy Blanchard and her mother Dee Dee is one replete with hardships and challenges. Gypsy
Nobody knew the truth.
They were local darlings. I mean, they were the shining star in this town of people who can outlast adversity and get through everything.
The mother-daughter duo are local celebrities, the subject of countless local news profiles and articles.
Gypsy and her multiple illnesses and diseases, leukemia, muscular dystrophy. She had learning disabilities, had not been able to be out of a wheelchair since she was 5 years old. And so the community really embraced them.
Dee Dee's originally from Louisiana, a one-time beauty queen.
Military queen, Miss Claudina P.
And nurse's aide.
She looked so different back then. Look at Rod. And you can totally tell he was very, very young in that picture. You know, it's just weird. The whole thing started out being weird. Let's talk about it like that. From the day one,
Carries Rod Blanchard at age 24. Together, the couple welcomes a beautiful baby girl.
Perfectly healthy, pretty little baby. Named her Gypsy Rose. I was excited and very scared. I'm not gonna lie, I was scared. I'm 18 years old and I got a baby here, so.
But she was beautiful and perfectly healthy.
Yeah, she was. Nothing wrong with her. She looked perfect.
I see you. You want to blow me a kiss? Very good.
But the relationship was far from perfect, and the couple broke up.
Not long after, Dee Dee was saying that she was sick, problems.
Such a cute child.
Epilepsy, and it just progressed from there.
Leukemia, paralyzed.
Now I'm going to ask you a question. Let's talk about this for just a second. Let's talk about it for real. I mean, not just playing, but real. Rod, you're sitting there and you're telling us all that she had all these things. And did you ever stop to take that child to the doctor or go to the doctor yourself? Had you really wanted to take her to the doctor to find out about her illnesses or help it or assist her, you would have known it was not real. So let me tell you something. I do blame Rod and I blame Dee Dee, both. Because if you cared about your child, you would have done something. But no, you ignored it because it was out of sight, out of mind. I do not give any mercy to Rod. He is fully responsible for his part and this monster and what she is now. So let's keep watching this.
Muscular dystrophy. And she would have seizures.
Just ridiculous.
Gypsy was probably 7, 8 years old. She's in a wheelchair now. She needs a feeding tube.
Was Dee Dee a good mother?
I told Dee Dee she was the best mother. There's no way I can do what you're doing.
She absolutely needed the feeding tube. She was failing to thrive. And that is part of her known and actually diagnosed chromosome disorder. That was just part of it. Here we go.
A sick child, it's constantly 24/7 taking care of her and everything. I mean, I always praised her and told her, good job.
Rod and his new wife.
She did have eye problems. I don't know about the ears. She may have needed tubes, but she did have eye problems. Remember, she's had eye surgery. She's born, her eyes, I mean, that's just another part of her chromosome disorder. Here we go.
Christy would have sporadic visits with Gypsy, but they are never alone.
You know, all the visits, Dee Dee had to be there the whole time.
Something never felt right about it. Just
All the visits, Dee Dee had to be there the whole time. No, Rod, no. Had you asserted yourself, you could have controlled that, and you could have taken your child on vacation with you. Dee Dee never said, oh, she had to be there. The problem is you didn't want to take her anywhere. You just wanted to go visit, show up for a little bit, and pretend to be a father, right? Because you felt guilty. That's what I think, Rod. That's what I think. Here we go.
Dee Dee was so controlling of her.
This is the last photo taken of
No.
Rod with his daughter before fate would seemingly deal Gypsy and Dee Dee another
Okay, look at
cruel
that.
blow,
Look at that.
leaving the pair displaced and
The last picture of taken with Rod was that picture before, and that was years ago, and that was before the Hurricane Katrina happened. That was before they lost their home. So why did he not make any attempts to go visit this child and help, or make sure she had Christmas with him or something? But he did nothing. He helped make this monster.
depleted by Hurricane Katrina in 2005.
In some areas, the water is now 20 feet deep.
Their home
Yes,
ravaged
Katrina
by the
was
storm
bad.
and floodwaters. They took refuge at this nearby special needs shelter.
I've learned from Dee Dee was that they were homeless, no place to go. So Mercy Hospital loaded them up on the helicopter and flew them up.
Now, I have a question about that. I want y'all to think about this logically. She's finding out that she's homeless. They had no place to go. Gypsy has a feeding tube already because she was failing to thrive. And so she contacts these people and they helicopter her out of there. But let's talk about that helicopter trip. Yes, Dee Dee did say things that were not true to get the helicopter ride out of there because she had no other way to get out of there, right? Here's the question I had. Where was Rod? Did Rod not give a shit about what was happening to Gypsy, and contact Dee Dee somehow and say, how can we help you? We understand you've lost your house. But no, it was once again out of sight, out of mind, creating a monster. Here we go.
They were evacuated here to Springfield, Missouri, birthplace of Route 66, a tight-knit community in the buckle of the Bible Belt. With Dee Dee, a full-time caregiver, they're forced to piece together a life, largely from donations, disability payments, and child support from Gypsy's dad. A turning point seems to be when the family gets this home, located at the aptly named intersection of Hope Road and Volunteer Way.
I remember my mom had gave
Be
me
careful and
this
watch
little glass
this
house,
right here. Hang on,
and she
hang
said, "This."
Look right there. Now, I want you to look at the picture right there. Watch carefully. I'm going to let it play. I'm going to slow it down for just a minute. Hang on.
One day
Let me
this
slow it
will
down.
be real.
Yeah, let me slow this down for a minute because I want to point out something here. Let's slow it down. Playback speed. We're not going to listen to the words. Just watch. And we're slowing it down for a reason. Here we go. Just watch.
And now it finally is.
The Blanchards moved into that house built
Just
by
watch
Habitat
Gypsy.
for Humanity. A wheelchair ramp was built just for her.
Look at that face.
She was like one of the happiest people I had ever.
Stop it right there. I'm going to speed it. We're going to put it back on normal speed. But if you look at her face right there, you can tell that she is not the age she's portraying to be. She's just not. You can kind of see now that we know what's real here, right? You can kind of see the difference because it's just you can just see it, right? Watch. I know. I think. Tell me if I'm wrong. Up and tell me if I'm wrong. It's fine.
Yeah, she was the most sick that I had ever met at the same time.
In between hospital stays, Gypsy frequently jet sets across the country. Ball games, galas, the most magical place on earth, Disney World.
Make-A-Wish, we're taking her down to Orlando, all expenses paid and everything.
Let me stop it again. Okay. Let me look at that face. I don't know how old she was in this picture. I don't know. There's just something strange about these pictures. When you look at them now, knowing what we know now, how did she feel? How did she feel like looking so young? I don't understand
She
that.
even got to meet country superstars Miranda Lambert and then husband Blake Shelton.
Miranda Lambert came to Springfield a few times.
It's very, very
and
strange.
I think she gave Dee Dee and Gypsy money.
Yes, she did. Look at this
We all know about
$3,500
that,
check from the singer's personal account. But that wasn't all.
What must I do?
Check her out posing
Now,
with her
watch all
favorite
this
actors,
right here. Hang on a minute.
Elijah Wood and Sean Astin from Lord of the Rings.
It sounds like a really awesome life, but I mean, it's not.
I mean, think about that for a minute. All of the experiences that she got to have just because she was supposed to be sick. Well, there's a lot of sick children to get none of that. How did this happen? How did she manage to get all of these things through all of these different agencies? Who helped them get all of this through the agencies? Was it one of the doctors? I don't know. But something is not exactly right about how this happened. But here we go.
Not worth like what condition her health was in.
But in private, Gypsy just wants to be a regular teen and find love, according to friend and neighbor Aaliyah Woodmansey.
She would show interest in like different boys and try to ask me advice on like, you know, how do you approach them? How do you like kiss a boy?
Aaliyah says mom Dee Dee didn't approve of the girl talk.
It was like, my daughter has the mentality of a child, like you're talking to her about teenage girl things.
But Gypsy ignores her mother, going behind her back and sets up this online dating profile. She soon connects with this man and pours out her.
But yet she says she had no education. Apparently she had education because she knew how to maneuver a computer. I mean, she did have education. She needs to stop lying about that. When you really go back and look at the whole story and you start putting the little pieces together, it's like, why did we not notice this before, right? Here, let's watch.
So, I need to tell you something. I'm no model. I have a medical condition, so I can't walk. I have a chair I use. Is that an issue?
Why would that be a problem? You are an angel in my eyes. It will never make any difference in how I see you from the inside out.
And with a few strokes of the keyboard, a secret online relationship blooms.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC.
All right, now, here's what we're going to do next. We're going to go back next, and we're going to move on to this next part of this because I mean, it is fascinating how we missed all of these clues.
This is the house we're.
Let's go to number 2. Whoops, go. Come on. Oh, wait a minute. I got to get off of there like that. All right. Now, I'm going to go find the other one that I had because I was shocked. Let me see. What's this? Anyway. Okay, here we go. Okay, so it's ABC 2020. Gypsy Rose. Oh, it's number 2. Sorry, got to get number 2 in there. Number 2. Now, okay, now watch this one. I know it's from 8 years ago, but really, just watch Gypsy's face through every one of these. Look at her face.
2 of Springfield, Missouri's most renowned and revered citizens, Gypsy Blanchard and her mother Dee Dee, taking center stage.
Also, I want you to look at her arms, look at her shoulders, look at her face. Look at her hand size. You can clearly tell this is not a 12-year-old child. Look carefully. Look carefully. This is what shocks me, is how in the world did they pull this off?
At a Relay for Life event to raise money for the American Cancer Society.
You're the reason I was born, to be your mama.
I'm just letting you look closely. Just look at her hands, her arms, her neck. The size of her features tells you that she's much older than she's portraying to be. And how did nobody notice it? That's the question. It is disturbing.
But the sickly and often secluded Gypsy believes she too has found her guardian angel, not at home in her mother, but online with the man, Nick Godejohn.
She was in love with him. She thought that he was going to be the
Look at
prince.
Nick. Okay,
that
look at
came
Nick.
and finally saved her.
Hold on a second. Let's go back for a second. I want you to look at Nick's face. Look at Nick. Also, Nick, who we know whenever he was arrested, was 26 years old. They had known each other for almost 3 years. So the first time they meet, this is at the movie theater. Of course, you know, she lied about the movie theater and said, oh, it didn't go well. Oh, that's a lie. Her mother took the picture. She was fine with Nick. She just didn't want her to plan a life with Nick. It was okay for Nick to be around, but don't plan a life with Nick. That was Dee Dee's problem with that. But even Nick, when you look at him, how did Dee Dee not know how old Nick really was? Well, I guess it didn't matter because they were both over 18, well over 18. We're talking about what, 23, 24, and 21, 22, right? That is how old they really were in this picture right here. Crazy, right? Let's go.
He was going to be the prince that came and finally saved
Unbelievable.
her and got her out of her locked tower, and they'd live happily ever after.
Look at some of the messages the love-struck
Look at
teenager
this
sends
one.
a friend.
Just look, I mean, look at her features, look at her face, look at her arm, look at everything. Look at her. She's not pulling off the face of a young child. She's pulling off the face of a picture of a freak. You got this wild ass wearing some little girl princess costume. I mean, this looks really like somebody who is mentally disturbed. That's what this looks like. But we'll keep watching it for a second.
About her Prince Charming.
I met a wonderful guy. He's my first boyfriend. He gives me poems and is so
And that was a lie too.
She was talking about this new guy that she was now in love with, and that they
You have to remember, even in these pictures over here, they had already been to the I'm gonna call it an outing that they went to, where she met Dan Glidewell, right? She met him at this place and ended up in his hotel room. So she's over here trying to portray this little child, but over here actually doing adult things. Her mother had to go find her in the hotel when she was missing. I guess she remembered that she was talking to or whatever. You know, I don't really know what the conversation was about Dan Glidewell, but clearly she's over here saying, "Oh, he's my first boyfriend." You know, just lying all the time, lying. It's
had
amazing.
met on a Christian dating site,
lying.
and that they were already planning on naming their children after him.
We want a snow wedding in a gazebo with red and white roses.
Honestly, what I was thinking whenever I saw these messages is that these were just like fantasies and dreams.
But on their shared Facebook page, the harsh reality is what people saw.
We're just going to take a look at these pictures real quick. Okay, let's go back a little bit. Let's look at all of them. Here we go. Okay, we'll watch. Just look at the pictures whenever they scroll. I know it's hard, but look.
The harsh reality is what people saw.
Dee Dee presented as a very doting mother. This was her child.
Look at that picture. You can tell she's much older.
She was just going to love her unconditionally until she couldn't anymore.
But then comes the day when family friends Kim and David are horrified when something very different popped up on Gypsy.
Now we know what
Facebook
happened
page,
there, but anyway.
a very vulgar post.
Here's what we're going to do.
The bitch is dead.
Yeah, let me go past this because we all know that. Okay. Whoops.
Can't forget that pink house with the wheelchair ramp.
I see a stretcher come out of the house, and
Okay,
there's
well,
a
we
sheet
know that
over
part.
her body, and I just start sobbing.
And that Gypsy was missing.
You know, I was shocked.
Now, listen to him.
Couldn't understand.
Listen to him.
Why would somebody do this to this child? You know, no wheelchair, no medication.
Okay, stop.
They got to just leave her for dead.
Christy Blanchard, you already knew she could walk and there was nothing wrong with her. Why are you sitting there saying that on national television? What are you doing? Why are you continuing the lie? I don't understand that part.
Authorities moved quickly and hit pay dirt when they traced the IP
Ridiculous.
address of those profane Facebook posts to a small
wow,
house
okay.
600 miles away
Yeah.
in Big Bend, Wisconsin.
Go keep on.
John. He functions at about a 15 or 16-year-old.
Listen to
He's
this.
a kid that sort of is similar
is a
to
15 or
Gypsy from the
16.
standpoint of not really having a normal social interaction history that most kids would have had up to that point. They go to the house. There's some sort of standoff for a period of time. They have to bring the SWAT team there.
When authorities
Because
entered the
nobody wanted
home,
to come
they take
downstairs.
both into custody.
We started hearing from various sources that Gypsy wasn't a victim. She wasn't kidnapped.
Oh shit, let me go back a minute. Sorry. Let me go back a minute. Let me see if this shows that picture again. I might not be able
Says
to.
that
Okay.
Gypsy
Okay,
wasn't
right
a victim.
there. Look at her right there. Look at her face. I don't believe this is from the same day that she was arrested. I don't believe it's from that period of time. Anyway.
She wasn't kidnapped, that she was actually involved in this somehow. It was beyond shocking.
We have located Gypsy in another state.
Yes, I bet it was
She's
beyond
okay.
shocking.
We do have another person of interest in custody.
I'm Detective Hancock. I'm the Free County Sheriff's
But
Office.
listen carefully to this.
Your
Hang on.
mom's dead.
Wait,
Yes.
what?
She's
Hang on.
deceased. All right.
Look at her. I mean, it's shocking that she attempts to lie right here. Another freakish lie that she starts telling.
Now, what I want to ask you.
It's
if you have
amazing to
involvement
me.
in this- Hang on, listen to me. What happened with your mom that night?
She's a great actress, isn't she?
I don't know what happened with my mom at all.
Okay, you know what happened to your mom, okay? You know exactly. I'm not going to play around with this, okay?
I didn't do
Listen to me.
anything.
While Gypsy keeps mom in the interrogation room, what does the other one say?
Apparently, from what she told me, her mom kicked her out of her house.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel.
Now, we got to go back because we all know that part. But to me, it's so shocking that everybody's looking at this. For years, this is going on. For years, this is going on. And all this, and nobody noticed that she looked very much older as far as the size of her features than she was portraying to be. That's weird. Now, there's something else we're going to look at over here from the history from something today that I found. Go to their history. And it was a doctor, and he was talking about this situation with her. Here we go. I'm going to go back and find it right here. This is part 2. Well, no, we're going to go back over here. Let me find the doctor. It's Dr. What was his name? Oh, shoot. Well, we'll go ahead and listen to part 2 of this for a second while I look for the other one. But this is Andrea Dunlap. And she has decided that
we obviously hope to
Gypsy's
correct.
mother actually did have Munchausen by proxy. Now, okay, and this was full credit is going to be to Renelle Smith. So let's go ahead and fix that. Okay, so let me do that. I think that's how you spell her name. Okay, so let's get that over there for her. Okay, now Andrea Dunlap, which is, I don't understand how she could still sit there and say that Dee Dee did have Munchausen by proxy. To me, that is very strange, but that she's trying to push that narrative. It's almost like she's paid by some legal team to change the facts. That's how it appears. Let me put this on the right speed. Okay, there you go. Now we'll listen to this.
Tell here on nobody should believe me.
Oh,
And I
wait a
understand
minute.
that the attention that
I think she had it on 1.25 when she played it. Here, we'll go back and put it on 1. Okay, there we go. Is it on 1? Hello. Oh, that's way too slow. Here we go. Normal. Here we go. All right. There we go. Let's play.
this story
Now
has
listen to
received
this.
can compound feelings of invisibility for survivors who don't feel
This is
represented.
Andrea
One of
Dunlap.
the reasons I wanted to talk to Gypsy is because she has expressed to me a number of times how much she wants to help elevate the voices of other survivors, which I think is a really
Oh my
wonderful goal.
God.
This is the case I get asked about the most when people hear what I do for a living. It's a complicated cultural touch point, but it's a big one. And in case this isn't clear, I acknowledge that Gypsy participated in a horrific crime. Dee Dee Blanchard didn't deserve to be murdered, and I don't condone it. I can hold space for the idea that someone can be a victim and a perpetrator at the same time. And that happens to be true for both Gypsy and Dee Dee. And the reality is that Gypsy was held accountable for that crime in a way that perpetrators of abuse, even those who murder their own children, very rarely are. For me, Gypsy is neither a villain nor a vigilante heroine. she's a human being who shouldn't be defined by her worst moments. There are a lot of complexities around victims who commit acts of violence against their abusers. And we're going to have my wonderful colleague, Dr. Kathy Ayub, on to discuss some of those elements in a bit more detail. And again, if this discussion is just not something you have the space for, that's okay. There's also been a dedicated effort by people online to debunk the story of Gypsy's abuse, and that is entirely separate from the complexities of the crime she participated in. This narrative rests on a couple of things, some of which we actually addressed in the episode, but which I will recap here because they're very common tactics used to disprove Munchausen by proxy abuse, and so are worth addressing. The first is this idea that because Gypsy has a genetic condition that could have been responsible for some of her symptoms, that negates abuse. This is a misunderstanding of Munchausen by proxy abuse. A child...
Hear that? Actually acknowledging that she did have a deletion, that she did have an underlying condition. And just keep listening, because I found this to be another freakish, weird. What are you saying, Andrea Lund? I don't think because she's told her so many lies, she won't look at the truth. That's what's happening here.
Can have a medical issue that is exaggerated or made worse by a parent, or used as a justification for over-medicalizing them, isolating them, keeping them out of school, etc. That's all abuse. There's also the idea that Gypsy was actually the one fabricating symptoms rather than Dee Dee. And again, this shows a lack of knowledge about this abuse dynamic and misunderstands the agency that even an old...
She sat there and told us in a video she knew she could walk since she was 6 years old. Absolutely, she was fabricating. What are you saying, Andrea Dunlap? I just don't understand you not admitting that the fact that she did assist in fabricating symptoms.
Older victim has in a case like this. This abuse is not confined to medical abuse. It's financial, emotional, and psychological as well. The third big idea that comes up a lot is that Dee Dee Blanchard was never diagnosed with factitious disorder imposed on another or held criminally accountable for her abuse. But anyone who's been listening to this show for a while knows that that's true in most cases. And unfortunately, I know how dedicated the effort to disprove the existence of abuse is in some corners. So these are all arguments that I've seen before. So again, more to come in our conversation with Dr. Ayub. You may have noticed that the conversation has gotten a little out of hand online, and we are going to moderate that space. But please do continue to let us know your thoughts on email at hello@nobodysshouldbelieveme.com.
Right.
We do our very best to be responsive over there.
Believe you.
Andrew Dunlop is trying to discredit those who are debunking Gypsy stories because of facts and evidence that have been released via FOIA. What qualifies Andrea Dunlop?
That's what
She
yes,
believes Gypsy and her story.
That's my question. What qualifies Andrea Dunlap to say that people like us who've heard the truth, who are trying to change the story to be the truth train, keep going? What gives her, how does she know? What, I mean, is she educated in this? Is she a doctor? I mean, I'm not sure. Is she a psychologist? What is she? We got to find that out.
Wholeheartedly. Yet she herself has no clinical experience or medical experience.
Hear that?
What
No
she
medical
does have
experience.
is lived experience from a family member. So does that qualify her to try and come and...
So Andrea Dunlap had a family member with Munchausen. So she does not have an educational background to diagnose anything. She's just talking about this based on a family history that she was in her own family member. How does that make her qualified? It doesn't. Lord, here we go.
discredit someone who is debunking Gypsy's story? And if she is going off of what Mark Feldman has informed her about or the advice he has given her, then she should also accept Mark Feldman's diagnosis of Gypsy Rose being a sociopath.
I think as mandated reporters, you just follow that. If you have a gut feeling, like for me, my doctor did put it in the medical files, suspect parent of Munchausen by proxy. But unfortunately, my mother did hop around from hospital to hospital. So it was very hard to keep me at one specific hospital. And she would also request medical records, like copies of them. So it was very likely that she did receive a copy of that exact letter, and it tipped her off. And that's the reason why we moved to a different hospital after that. So I think that even with doctor's intervention, just putting it in the medical records is not enough.
No, and that's actually, they're breaking the law by doing that. As Mike Weber always points out, right, the detective we've had on the show a bunch of times, you are charting a suspicion of...
So Andrea Dunlap, who has no qualification at all other than a family history, somebody in her family having this issue, is going to go over here and try to tell us that we're all wrong. Now, let's go to Mark Feldman, who actually is the person who said that she was a sociopath. And I believe it 100%. So let's do that. Okay. And then we'll get on to some of the other things. But Mark Feldman and Gypsy Rose. Hang on a second. Okay. Let's talk, and this is going to be Dr. Mark Feldman and Jesse Weber when they start talking about this trial and Gypsy Rose. Now, hang on a second. This is going to be part one, and this was from 3 days ago. So this is going to be full credit, and this is from the Andrea, when Andrea did her first. Okay, here we go. Now, this is going to be Nobody
Hello, it's
Should
Andrea
Believe.
Dunlop, and today on
Oh,
Nobody
no, I'm
Should
not going to do
Believe Me.
that one. No, we're not going to. I want to hear Dr. Feldman tell me. Here we go. I guess we're going to have to go with this one from. Okay, we'll do this one. It's Dr. Mark Feldman and Judge Ashley. Here we go. As they talk about Dee Dee and Gypsy, Law and Crime Network. Okay, full credit to Law
And
and
welcome
Crime.
back to Law and Crime.
Here we
So
go.
we are going to go back to the case of Missouri versus Nicholas Godejohn. Law and Crime has a very special guest. We're so happy to have you. It's Dr. Mark Feldman, clinical professor of psychiatry at Alabama. Did I get all that right?
You got it all right.
Excellent. So tell us first, Dr. Feldman, what is your involvement or knowledge of this particular case?
Well, I'm an expert in Munchausen by proxy, and so I heard about this case essentially from the moment it arose. I'm not an expert for either side in this case, and
That's
that
good to know.
allows me to comment
Let me
on
do
it
this. Make
based
it big.
upon my knowledge. I also wrote a lot about this case in my new book, Dying to Be Ill, which came out a couple of months ago. So I feel like I understand the issues pretty darn well.
Okay, so start by telling our viewers, first of all, Munchausen by proxy. What is
Read it
a
up.
definition of that for those who are watching?
It's when a caregiver, and that's almost always the mother, either feigns, exaggerates, or actually induces illness in her own child because she gets some kind of emotional gratification, some kind of thrill from doing it. Typically, it's attention, love, concern that she feels unable to get in any other way. And this is a ready-made plan that allows them to get the attention of loads of people, to get donations at times, but to be admired as sort of the parent of the year. And I think there's a mini epidemic of it going on in that I hear about new cases almost every day.
Okay, so what I'd like to do now is we're going to show a clip of Gypsy talking about her mother when she testified. And Dr. Feldman, stay with us. We'll come back to you. Wow, so she has outlined years of abuse and all of the different illnesses that her mother has put her through, including
this
a
is during the
wheelchair,
trial.
cancer,
Okay.
seizures. So we're going to rejoin our special guest, Dr. Mark Feldman, who is a specialist in Munchausen by proxy. So Dr. Feldman, here's my question for you. Is it typical in the cases that you've seen that the years of abuse can be for that many years and that there are this many illnesses? I mean, good Lord, she had all kinds of illnesses that she just testified about.
This is more extreme than in most cases I see. In fact, I haven't had another case that culminated in the murder of the perpetrator. But these are some of the kinds of illnesses we see a lot. False claims of cancer, seizures are very common. Reports between 6 and 9% of the victims actually die as a result of what their mothers have done to them, injecting them with bacteria, causing toxicity by giving them excessive doses of prescription medications, and the list goes on.
But Dee Dee never did any of that kind of thing. She never gave that child anything to make her sick. That's why I do not agree with this. But you will keep listening.
On and on. So I think anyone who would say, well, this isn't really abuse is badly misunderstanding what Munchausen by proxy is.
Yeah, it is terrible to hear about terrible child abuse, including of Gypsy in this particular case. We are going to now watch some clips of other types of illnesses. Let's watch and come back with Dr. Feldman. And actually, that wasn't testimony about other illnesses. It was about other forms of abuse. And she was just talking about Gypsy was that the mother smashed her cell phone, her computer, chained her to the bed. So again, Dr. Mark Feldman joining us. And
see, none of that's true. The cell phone actually was Dee Dee's. The computer was Dee Dee's. Dee Dee is not going to smash her cell phone and her computer because these things were all donated to them. This is ridiculous.
Expert in Munchausen's by proxy. So is it typical that a person who is abusing a child because they have Munchausen's by proxy are doing these other types of abuse, like smashing the cell phone, the computer, chaining her to the bed, not letting her leave the house, holding her captive?
There very often is not only emotional abuse, but physical abuse as well, straightforward physical abuse. But most of the victims in Munchausen by proxy are either pre-verbal or early verbal, and therefore they can't communicate their distress and they can't escape. And so the kinds of behaviors we see in Gypsy's case really don't have an opportunity to be manifest in most victims.
And there's been a lot of discussion, at least in my law world, about how do you.
But Gypsy was always able to verbalize, and she could have always said whatever she needed to say, but she chose not to.
How does a caretaker, a mother in Gypsy's case, convince doctors that they have all these illnesses? So is it self-reported? How do they do that?
They often prevent the patient, the victim, from talking to the doctor. And this happened in Gypsy's case. The mother does all the talking. She may imply that the child has some kind of intellectual disability, and there's no point in asking the child. Doctors are gullible. And I don't say that pejoratively. It's just that we are taught that we should listen closely to what patients and families have to tell us as the single best guide to what's going wrong with them. We're not taught to doubt what families and patients tell us. So it takes fairly overt deception that's uncovered before people even consider Munchausen by proxy. It's kind of uncommon. It's esoteric. Doctors may not be taught anything about it during their medical training. I wasn't. I acquired all my information after I was already on the faculty at Duke. So this is a disorder that's sort of bathed in deceit. And for that reason, it goes unexposed all too often.
Yeah, it is. This case has all kinds of interesting issues. Dr. Feldman, please stay with us. I'm happy that you're here to be our guest today.
Okay.
The trial is resuming in Go to John. So we are going to go to that trial live. They had a lunch break. We're now resuming. And let's.
Now I'm going to go back over here. I want to find the one where he says she's a sociopath. That is what I really want to hear. Oh, how funny is this? Behavior comparisons, the female sociopath, Gypsy Rose. No, hang on a minute. Just a minute. I know I know that he did. He actually said, yes, she's a, Okay, let me go down here and take a look and see if I can find it. Well, okay, maybe it was something that was said in the trial, but let's see. But see, they're talking about Nick. Anyway, let's go over here. Oh, hang on.
Welcome back to Law and Crime, all of our audience. There you go. So we definitely recommend that you pick it up.
Okay, that's
and
the
they're
guy's
sick when they're really
book.
not. Or did she know?
They get plaudits as this amazing mother of the year who is so dedicated to her child with multiple medical problems, including a genetic chromosomal problem and muscular dystrophy and cancer and seizures, and it went on and on. I think she added to the burden of medical illnesses that Gypsy was supposedly having to keep her medical audience engaged and to keep people thinking this is the most misfortune one could ever think of for a mother, and yet she's handling this so bravely.
Look, this is a really tragic case. And
There's one, Munchausen by proxy is one thing, but there's also malingering, right? I don't really think that I think Dee Dee was malingering for sure, because she did realize, that if they kept up the ruse, that they would be able to do all these trips and get all these free things and get to enjoy some things that other people don't get to enjoy. I do believe that Dee Dee did that 100%. Yes, I do. But I'll never say it was Munchausen anyway.
we can't forget the fact that she was stabbed and was killed. The question becomes, though, and what's ironic about this is you said she was trying to get sympathy from people and she really was getting attention. And ironically enough, we discovered that in this upcoming trial, we don't believe that there is going to be anybody for the victim, for Dee Dee, in that courtroom. So that sympathy kind of washed away, and that's pretty incredible to look at. You mentioned before that she was able to deceive the medical community. I guess there's one thing to deceive family and friends, but how on earth do you deceive medical professionals time and time again? I'm not sure I understand that.
Well, in medical school, we're taught that the single best indication of what's going wrong with a patient is what the patient or the family tells us. We're not taught to doubt what we're told. In fact, we're chastised if we tend to be a bit cynical.
Hey, I can tell you something else too. Well, she never let her talk. Let me tell you something. When I can remember when I started taking my children to the doctor and they got to a certain age, and the doctor would say, "Well, how do you feel today?" And talk to the child, not to the parent. The only thing that they would ask me about it is, "What have you given him for this?" You know, whatever it was, because they would ask the child, "How long have you been feeling bad? When did this start?" That kind of thing. Let me. There is no way that Gypsy was never asked anything by these doctors. No way.
As we approach our patients and families, Dee Dee didn't allow Gypsy to talk during medical appointments. So the whole history came from Dee Dee. And doctors are as easily misled as the public was. They don't have time typically to review outside records. And in this case, Dee Dee claimed that those outside records were destroyed in Hurricane Katrina. Who would think that?
See, now that's not right either. Everybody knows that there is a backup system somewhere that has all of your information on it. So claiming that it was all destroyed, no, I don't believe that.
Somebody would make that up and make up such a terrible history for their own child. It's so counterintuitive. And so it didn't come up in this case, except with one rare exception.
Do you see these cases happening a lot with parents and children, or do you see it more, hey, listen, caregivers, older people, maybe even children to their parents? This happens across a whole wide spectrum, I'm assuming.
Yeah, in about 95% of the cases, the victim is a child. But in rare cases, it can be an adult, especially a dependent adult. I had a case, for instance, in which an adult with Down syndrome, a form of mental retardation, was being victimized by his own mother. The elderly are sometimes subjected to Munchausen by proxy, and that can involve a bunch of motivations, including financial exploitation, which would take it into the realm of malingering.
Hello, it is malingering. Thank you.
By proxy, and I've reported on this a number of times. Sometimes you see serial deaths of pets for unexplained reasons, along
that makes
with
me sick too.
a huge number of visits to the veterinarian. And it's the same dynamic, seeking sympathy from medical professionals for illnesses that don't exist or have been induced.
Yeah, I want to switch gears, though, and talk now about Gypsy. What's the effect that this has on the victim of, you could say, on Munchausen syndrome by proxy, the actual target of this? What is the effect? And here, if you take the prosecution's case, she snapped and wanted to kill her mother. In fact, if we can, there's some Facebook messages that popped up when Dee Dee was stabbed to death. And at first, family and friends didn't know what to make of this. I mean, look at these messages. It was ultimately determined, Gypsy admitted that she was the one who's logged onto the account and wrote these messages, but this is really, really disturbing stuff. So what is going on in the mind of Gypsy as the victim of this?
The victims never come through unscathed. And there's been some research looking at what happens to Munchausen by proxy victims as they age and become adults. And they tend to have trouble with post-traumatic stress disorder, as well as difficulties with reality testing, as we call it, or differentiating what is fantasy and.
So is this going to be the excuse as to why Gypsy, or as to why we have the Nick and Gypsy fantasy? Is this what he's going to say has happened here? That this is not the real Gypsy and her sociopathic behaviors? Here we go. Let's see.
What is reality? And I think that probably did happen in Gypsy's case. She may have had fantasies that somehow she and Nicholas would go off and be happy forever after. That's unrealistic, and I think it reflects the influence of poor reality testing.
Let's get more into the mind of her, though. We know that Gypsy, there was an ABC 2020 special on this. In case you haven't seen it, Doctor, I want to play it for you, and we'll get your perspective. Let's play that right now. All right, Doctor, you tell me. She seems to say that she was conflicted. I'm curious your response to that, your reaction to watching that.
I'm sure she was. There's so many different thoughts, clearly, that were going through her head at the time, and different emotions, some of which were rational and some of which probably were not. I would take her at her word that she misses her mother to some extent, yet she enjoys greater freedom now in prison than she had under her mother's care. And her mother was physically abusive as well as emotionally abusive, and medically abusive. So
there's not one bit of proof that her mother was ever physically abusive to her. None. It all came out of Gypsy's mouth. Not one person they know have ever said, "Oh yeah, I saw Dee Dee be abusive to Gypsy." See, not one. So where are they getting this from?
the dynamics, as I suggested before, can be really complicated. And it's hard to look at other cases and apply them to this one in order to learn what probably happened. For example, I can't think of another case where the victim arranged for the death of the perpetrator. And so it's hard to go through the literature, try to find something like that, or to extrapolate from other cases.
But have you ever seen a situation where the target turns against the person who imprisoned them? And I'm not saying, like you said, never seen a situation where they might have planned a murder, but the idea that they somehow turn against that person, the person that, yes, maybe they're caregiver for years, but it was a sense of, it was all a fake situation. It was a fake trap. So have you ever see them turn against that person?
Oh, yes. But what they usually do is escape from the situation. They call the police, they call adult protective services or child protective services, or somebody does so on their behalf. And they get out of the situation, short of engaging in any kind of violence. That does happen a lot. And I get emails through my website from people who have done exactly that, but go on to describe the emotional conflicts that continue even when they're free of the influence of the perpetrator.
Yeah, and look, we have more to talk about this, so I'm hoping, Doctor, you can stand by for a little bit. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, I want to talk more about this syndrome.
Hang on, let's see, get past that. I don't want to hear that.
Maybe in
Okay,
20
here we
minutes,
go.
but as soon as we have an update, we'll make sure to go there. This is a really interesting case, and I want to bring back on real quick psychiatrist and an expert in Munchausen syndrome by proxy, Dr. Mark Feldman, who was featured prominently in that HBO documentary about this whole case. And I just want to ask you a couple more questions if I can. You know, this syndrome, when I first heard about it, it hit me, and I said, where have I heard this before? And I realized it's constantly portrayed in the media. In fact, it was just portrayed in Sharp Objects on HBO. Sorry to give that away. It was also featured in The Sixth Sense. How do you think the media portrays it? Do they portray it accurately, or are there things that they seem to get wrong with it?
Well, I watched Sharp Objects, and they did a really admirable job. In general,
Yeah, I got to
the
go watch
coverage has
Sharp
been good.
Objects.
There's a documentary that aired just a few days ago on another network, and again, it was a good, solid background. Now, the case is so inherently sensational that there's no need for them to sensationalize it further, but some do that. There are many more documentaries scheduled about this case because it just
Okay, wait a minute.
it takes your breath away when you.
Did you hear what he said? There are many more documentaries scheduled about this case. So they were all involved in portraying her as a victim, and they were all involved in selling her, because basically they're selling her story. They're all going to be part of selling this story. It's all been manipulated, the whole thing.
You think about the extent of the abuse and also the extent of Gypsy and Nicholas's behavior in response to it.
Yeah, we're eagerly anticipating the feed into that courtroom because we need to learn more about this. Doctor, now you are the author of a book called Dying to be Ill, True Stories of Medical Deception. I'd like to show the
they can all they don't need. What's unique about this book, and it does cover the
I don't want to hear about your book.
Blanchard case,
is
that
they're in the book.
I got about 50 patients and family members and law enforcement and others to write first-person narratives for the book. So it's got about 50 first-person narratives from people telling their stories directly, and that's something that's never been done before.
Wow, that is
okay.
Pretty
Well, that's the end of his
pretty
thing.
remarkable.
Let me shut this down. Whoops. Oh. Oh, I need to share the screen. Hello, sorry. Oh, wait a minute. This is a different one. Hang on. All right. That's okay. We'll just go back over here. Now,
welcome back to Law and Crime, everybody. So one of our
I'm going
live
to
trials
stop
that
sharing
we're
my
waiting
screen.
for at around 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time that we're going to jump.
All right. Let me stop sharing. Okay. Now, I'm going to go back over here, and here's what we're going to do. This is a. Do we want to do Morganalina? I like Morganalina. We're going to watch a little bit of her analysis. Hang on just a second, y'all. And this is going to be full credits Morganalina. Here we go. You're on. Sorry.
because they have an ability to mask
There
and
we
blend
go.
in much easier. Female sociopaths will often have a history of manipulating and exploiting other people. They are rational, they are calculated, and everything they do and say has a purpose.
Well, I hope I spelled that
Whether
right.
that be now or sometime in the future, listen and pay attention to what they say because they mean
All right,
it.
good.
Now, being as I am on parole right now, I can't do that. People got me by the short and curlies on that one. But best believe I won't always be on parole. Whatever it takes to make me free. And that is right by the collar. It says, do what makes you happy, which I'm all about that. And it also says,
They'll often use weaknesses or secrets that they discover of their friends and their family members in order to exploit them and then gain something for themselves. They are somebody that has to be the center of attention always. They are only concerned with themselves.
That's right, main character syndrome, which is very much part of being a sociopath or psychopath. It's a behavior problem. It's a me problem, actually. But anyway, we'll keep watching her. But then there's something else I'm going to show you. Hang on.
They want to dominate the conversation.
I like
they want the focus
Morgan Elena.
all to be on them. And if it's not, they are going to get upset and become the victim.
Watch me bounce back. You think I'm taking losses? Nah, I ain't bout that. If you see me take a time out, I'll be right
Cover that
back.
shit up. Nobody wants to see that.
I'ma
bounce back.
They often
Oh,
lie
God.
and manipulate for personal gain. A lot of the times they will look you right in your eye and just lie straight to your face, and they will have zero conscience about doing it. And they will do it over and over and over again, and they will never ever feel sorry for it.
and through my life, yes, she taught me how to be a good liar, a very good liar without any conscience.
They are very impulsive and act without thinking. And this is one of the main differences between a sociopath and a psychopath, is that sociopaths are very, very impulsive. Psychopaths can be, but they're typically more controlled and calculated in what they plan to do. This is why a sociopath is much more likely to end up in jail or in legal trouble because of this impulsivity.
Right. Which
Quite
is
commonly use seductive techniques in order to get what they want. They will pick out somebody that they see as weak.
Did you hear that? Seductive techniques. What did we see Gypsy do to Nick go to John from day one? Yes, that's exactly what happened. Here you go.
Or vulnerable, and they will use seductive practices in order to exploit and gain what they need.
And we haven't done anything that consists of adultery.
Gypsy, you're honestly going to sit there and tell me you don't have sex?
We didn't do anything.
Honest to God.
Honest.
I'm not going to sit here and admit that, okay, I believe you. I'm not going to admit that.
So you're going to try to scare her?
Listen, baby, I know I was a bad girl, but come on. You'd have to be crazy not to take me back. Let me explain something
That
to
is
you.
too funny.
We'll party like it's your birthday. Young love.
Quite often unpredictable or have be called erratic behavior, like you just never know what they're going to do. A lot of the times they are risk takers. They are drawn to that.
That's what makes Gypsy so dangerous, because you cannot, there's no pattern to her, right? She's so, just at any moment she could snap. At any moment. I don't think she needs to be in our society, to be honest with you, because she is dangerous. But here we go.
They love it. It's exciting. They want to do things that are considered dangerous. It's so appealing to them, such as going unprotected with a partner or having multiple partners. There is a thrill in the dangerous behavior that they need in their lives, and that's what makes them happy. When they are in relationships, they are very, very clingy with their partners. And don't get confused that just because they have a partner that they care, because sociopaths cannot love a person or be loved by a person in the ways that is typically accepted. They are quite literally after their own personal gain and gratification.
Period.
Girlfriend came over.
Okay. Well, I got something to tell you tonight. I'll get you back for that.
Oh, really? No.
So, man, my exes, I love it.
So they will quite often undermine your feelings, say you're overreacting. I can't believe you're upset about that. They will just blow off things in order to make themselves superior and to make you feel weaker. Another difference between a psychopath and a sociopath is that sociopaths can at times have a few close relationships or bonds with people. Psychopaths are much more likely to be like complete loners. Still will lack empathy. They do not care to understand how somebody feels because it doesn't matter to them. They don't care.
They
are
care.
typically very
Just don't
entitled,
care.
have a need for power or dominance.
Doesn't that sound exactly like her? She's so entitled. Everything has to be about her. I mean, it sounds just like her. It's perfect. Yes, here we go.
Especially over those that they view as weaker. They are opportunistic in all ways. It doesn't matter what they have to do or who they have to eliminate.
Exactly. She knew that Nick Godejohn was weak. She knew what she could do to him. Here we go.
To get what they want. And in the rare occurrences where they do admit to some wrongdoing, they will always justify their behavior because they don't actually believe that they did anything wrong.
Regardless of what is going on behind the scenes with me and Ken, the right thing to do was acknowledge that this marriage is not what I want and not working, and file.
Sociopaths will use absolutes when they're speaking. So
we moved to Louisiana and we lived there for 90 days, and on day 91, to follow the law, I go file for divorce. And then, okay, well, I've done what I'm supposed to do. It's all about me, gyp shit. It's all about me.
For example, I am 100% not guilty. I promise I would never do that. I would never cheat.
I honestly didn't do anything to my mama.
You have to pay attention to what they're saying because they're trying to manipulate you. Female sociopaths will have a fake display of humility or of being meek. They will pretend to be shy or just very timid, but this is a mask. Do not let that fool you. The only victim that is ever around a sociopath is themselves.
I was on a bunch of medications, and I know that's no excuse, but on Xanax, I felt like I had no emotion, and I wasn't thinking right.
On Xanax, I felt like I had no emotion because you are a sociopath. You don't know what emotion is. You don't have empathy. You don't have any of that. Damn.
They will always somehow find their way to being the victim, regardless of what they've done to you or how they treated you or anything. They are the victim, and they always want to stay in that position because that makes you a weaker person.
And again, just cut my hair off, trying to do everything I can to get his attention again. I would have given any time. I was really hoping to go, but unfortunately I just couldn't stack tickets. Also, I wasn't expecting to be pregnant, so priorities have to kind of shift a little bit. But I'm watching the concert on live stream. I'm so happy for everybody that is going, and I think I'll go to a concert at some point. It just won't be this time around.
And the struggle with these type of personality disorders is that they often don't think that they need treatment or therapy because that's really the only thing that could help them.
Right.
Because they don't view themselves as wrong. They don't see anything that needs to be fixed. They don't want to be fixed. And quite literally, this is something that does not go away. You cannot become a non-sociopath if you are one.
There is no cure. They can go to some psychology. They can, kind of get a little bit of thought retrain, but yeah, they stay the same. So if you're in a relationship with someone like this, you either learn how to see the signs and don't let them manipulate you, or you just go with it and just learn the hardest lesson you've ever learned. Here we go.
This is for life. You don't just one day wake up and know how to love somebody normally.
Right.
And the only thing that they can do is to proactively recognize those behaviors and, get ahead of them before they happen. But a lot of the times they don't see an issue.
I want to make clear, I was a part of the crime, but I didn't commit the act. And I think that is what people need to really remember.
Shut up, Gypsy Rose Blanchard. It was a part, but I didn't commit it. You planned it. You paid for it. Every single bit of it, you manipulated to your advantage. And you're going to sit there and say that. That is the hardest part for me. I watch her do these things, and I'm thinking to myself, you cannot honestly believe what's coming out of your mouth. You can't. You have to know better. My favorite is when they had the discussion about when her daughter's old enough, when they're going to sit her down and tell her about it. What are you going to tell her, Gypsy? Huh? Come on.
So I paid my dues. I did my time for my part of things. Now let me live my life and just.
Gypsy possesses a lot, if not all of these characteristics of being a female sociopath.
Yes, she does.
But I'm not offering this as a medical diagnosis or as a medical professional. None of that. This is my opinion only. You can comment below if you agree or not. And yeah, so let me know what you guys think below and hit the follow button.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with her and every other doctor that has said it. It is shocking to watch this girl. It's shocking to watch Gypsy manipulate all the people around her. Look what she did to Bree. Bree thought She actually thought that she's going to be able to take over that channel with 9 million subscribers. I mean, I guess she thought she was going to make money out of it. While Gypsy went over here and created a separate account, right, under a ruse, basically. And as soon as that was stable and she knew that she could hold on to both of these accounts, she goes over and takes it back. I don't know when Bree is going to admit that she is being used every time she turns around by Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Admit that she is being used every single day. Gypsy Rose Blanchard spends her time thinking about who she can use for what next. That is her, period. Let me get rid of some of these things that are open up here. That's why I kind of made a mistake a while ago and I cut myself out of there. All right. Let me see what this is. Okay, there's that. Now I'm going to go back over to YouTube. Now hang on a second. We're going to pull up something else here. Oh boy. It was 70 degrees today. It's just beautiful outside. What is this? No, come on. I'm trying to go to this damn, not Carnival. Crazy ass. Y'all want to see my pictures of my vacation. That's what he was trying to show you. Now, so let's go over here and let's look at Bree. Bree arrested again. Let's watch this little. Okay, playing. Is it not playing? Yes, it should be playing. Oh.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Guys, I'm still under the weather. I am taking some Alka-Seltzer Plus, cold and flu, and I'm drinking some hot coffee.
That's not my comment.
So, trying to get through.
All right,
but
it's bigger.
I get to go home tomorrow. So we get to go back home tomorrow. But what is so funny? I went home yesterday, and not home, but to where I'm staying, and took some NyQuil. So I was completely just out because I felt so bad yesterday.
Yeah,
and then I woke up to feeling kind of rotten again today. And I talked to Julie, and she was like, "Did you know that Bree got arrested again from February 4th to the 5th?" And I'm like, see, if I miss one day, if I just miss one day, there's so much stuff that comes out. There's so much stuff that happens. You can't even miss one day without something happening. But guys, I have got the T page with T. I'm going to put her in the description box below. She's over on TikTok, and she's going to inform us on what happened with this new arrest. So, guys, if you have a TikTok,
I want to know what
please go over there and sub to her. It's the T page with T. And I got this off of GRB Snark. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Hold on, let me find it. I know I'm not feeling good and my head is kind of stuffy and I feel like I can't think right, like I'm in a dream or something. All right, guys, listen to this.
So Gypsy Rose's best friend, Bree, has been arrested for a second time, and she stayed one night in jail, February 4th until February 5th. So I decided to call the jail just to make sure that.
I gotta wonder, did the person who took money out of their burial fund go and get some more money so that Bree could bail out again? I wonder about that. Here we go.
She was released, and to see if they would give me any more information. Now, whenever she was arrested online, Audrey showed us where it says that she was just arrested and released. Well,
Isn't that strange? So, guys, I have not gone over there to look at Audrey's page, but I love Audrey so much. She does
Go to GRB Snart.
so much good work. She does her research, and I'm going to go and check her out. We're going to check her out too here in just a minute.
I did some digging and I found out that she was a fugitive, which, like I explained in my previous video, a fugitive can mean many things, a warrant, etc. So I figured.
Yeah, so a fugitive, that really doesn't tell you much. It just says that you have an outstanding warrant, that a judge is wanting to see you or something like that. So it could be big, it could be small.
She had some warrants. So I called the jail and they told me exactly what she was arrested for. But what I think is crazy is that she missed court 6 times.
Okay,
and I'm going to play the clip where I'm on the phone with.
She missed court 6 times. Well, I want to know, how do you miss it 6 times in that short period of time? But does she not have transportation? Tell us, Bree, how you missed court 6 times in that short period of time.
With her missing court 6 times, I'm surprised that they even gave her a bail.
Me too.
Because to me, if you have if you don't show up for court, a lot of times bail bondsmen will not do a bail because you don't show up.
Because
the
they
actual
lose
jail
their
in
money.
just a second.
Yeah.
But she missed court 6 times right after she
I
just
will-
caught a charge for something rug related. And that is not going to look good when you go back in front of that judge for that arrest from New Year's Eve. Do you know?
That is just, oh my God.
It's amazing. 6 times.
We get done with tea, we'll go over there and pop in over there and see what Audrey has to say.
How crazy that is? She might be doing some time. Anyways,
Well, it
here
wouldn't
is
shock me
that
a bit.
recording of me talking
Okay, here we
to
go.
the Lafourche jail.
Yes, ma'am. I'm trying to find out if y'all have an inmate still in custody. Her name is Brianna Hines, Heintz.
I didn't know you could just call and do that.
No, she was released earlier today. Okay, do you know what her charges were exactly? Was it just a fugitive warrant?
You know that what she was in there for is public record. So nobody's doxing anybody. This is all public information.
But it's still shocking.
Give me 1 second. Okay, thank you.
Just tell her everything she wants to know.
Hello? Yes, ma'am. She had 6 traffic warrants. 6
Six
traffic warrants.
traffic
Okay,
warrants.
all right. Thank you so
6.
much. And she was just
Okay,
there
hang
for
on.
a night.
So if
6 traffic warrants. And let's go back to the original, when she got arrested originally on New Year's Eve night. She absolutely knew that the tags did not belong to that car. She knew there was no insurance. Let me ask you a question. Who in their right mind would get in a car knowing it was illegal like that and drive it around and just hope you don't get caught? You know, there's license plate readers that are reading your license plate everywhere you go. I mean, it's so easy for people to track you. What an idiot. I mean, this is another freak, right? You know,
6
God,
traffic
Bree.
warrants. That must mean
Shocking.
that she had to go to court 6 different times.
Wow.
And she missed court 6 different times is what it sounds like. And they put
For
out
each
a warrant
warrant.
every
For each-
time
yeah.
that she missed court.
Damn.
That's what it sounds like to me.
That's just stupid.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you so much. No problem. Bye-bye.
So, guys, that is crazy. That is crazy. But that was T Page with T.
Now, isn't that amazing? And this happened on December 31st. It is now February the 5th or the 6th, right? And she missed court 6 times. How? Good Lord Almighty, girl. What are you doing all day long? Let's go ahead and look at the other one. The other one that's in her little group of friends. What's her name? Big Sheena. Yeah, let's look at Big Sheena. We got to put her name in there, right? Right? It's Sheena Woodall, I think. I think it's Sheena Woodall is her name. Hang on. Woodall Morales right there. What's she doing over here today? Let's see. This is from 5. Let's see. No, we need something current that she's been doing. Let's go find the right Sheena. Sheena Woodall Morales, yes. Hang on a minute. Let me get the right name in there. So we can find her, see what she's up to. Sheena Woodall Morales. This is her. That's her right there. But we need to find her talking about gyp shit. Oh, here we go. Sheena on live with Gypsy and Ken. This is 3 days ago. Listen to this garbage.
But you've got like Tennessee and Mississippi. There's been close to like 25 deaths that have happened with this storm.
From the storm. Yeah. All right, here we go.
Anyway,
Let's start right
love
there.
you, girl. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Say it again, Ken.
She's in love with
isn't
Ken.
that just gross that she's got such a fascination with Ken?
Yes.
Like, I mean, you're just, I mean,
wouldn't Gypsy be
you're
jealous?
Just gross, your tongue hanging out and all this other crap over Ken. And he's not even a good-looking man. I know he looks like he's close to being the age of Sheena, but he's probably, you know, she's probably old enough to be his mother. And to me, I think it's kind of gross how she lusts after Ken whenever Ken is the boyfriend of her friend.
Her
what
best
happened
friend.
to girl code here? Oh, I forgot. We're talking about this cult that doesn't know anything about girl code, I guess. But you just don't do stuff like that. I just think it's kind of gross.
That's right.
Love you, Sheena.
Did y'all hear that? Y'all heard it?
Record that.
Y'all heard it?
Who really cares? Because
Nobody
we know
did.
that Ken's a liar too, along with Gypsy.
Right.
They're,
That's right. Let's see.
Oh, I don't even think that he really even loves Gypsy.
I don't either.
I mean, I just think he just loves and cares about himself.
I think with Gypsy and Ken, you absolutely have two sociopaths trying to make a life together, or they're pretending to make a life together. That's what it is. They're just pretending to make a life. That's what's going on with those two. See, I mean, people always, Gypsy's always talking about put a ring on it, put a ring on it. Gypsy, if he was going to marry you, he would have already done it. But wait a minute, here's the problem with all that. If you two get married, then you lose all the freebies that you're getting, as far as mothers, free stuff for your baby, Medicaid, whatever it is you're getting free, which you know how to do, which we know you're getting free stuff because that's the only way you can live, because you won't get a job. I mean, come on.
And he cares about himself that's the only reason why he came back to Gypsy. And my opinion
was the money.
It's for the money.
Amen.
And maybe he thought he could get that restaurant that he's always wanted to own.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking love you, Ken. I fucking love you.
I love you back. All right. Good night.
Good night. Y'all have a good night. Ken said good night. Ken said he fucking loved me, and I have witnesses.
Oh, crap. Here we go. Let's see.
Fucking love Ken.
Is that on the loop or something?
Oh my God. Rogie, you heard it, Rogie. Roger, you heard it.
Let's get past her. Let's see.
Baby daddy? Really? Who does that? Who freaking does that? Nobody I know. And if I had a friend that did that to my man or my baby daddy, I wouldn't let you near him. I'm sorry. I just wouldn't. I just think that is gross and just disgusting.
It clearly shows that the people that she's associated herself with are just like she is. And but we know that this group of people is just like Gypsy. We already knew that. They are all, sociopaths, psychopaths, whatever you want to call it. They all only care about themselves. I mean, they're all the same. Everybody in her group is the same. They all do the same things, right? Here we go. Is there anything else? Does she say anything else?
I know that. I know, little girl. I think some people don't know that, but you just heard it.
Oh God.
A lot of us just really could care less.
That's right. We could
all
care
of us.
less.
I mean, what does that have? What does that even matter?
Yeah, let's see. Look at that. Oh my Lord, look at that.
I fucking love Ken for the way he loves my friend and loves his baby. I just do.
I think you're full of shit. All right, we got to get off of that.
He's
Blech. No. Let's see. What did Gypsy have to say when she talked to? I mean, what did Big Sheena have to say when she talked to this guy? Here we go. Let's listen for a minute.
223, 20.
With Perez Hilton. Hang on a minute. Oh, Perez Hilton. And again, this is Pink Chihuahua.
Okay, I will, girl.
All right, here we go.
All right.
This is the freak talking to
Everyone-
Perez Hilton.
What is this that we were talking shit about you, Perez? What is that about?
People said that you were.
Why would we do that?
That's what I was curious about. I wasn't.
What I said was that I think people on the hater side think that they're going to use you to try to go mainstream media. And I don't think that's who you are.
Hello, Perez Hilton has already been mainstream media. He's coming over to TikTok and YouTube. It's to start making a little bit of money. And I'm going to tell you something. The best way, I don't agree with people. I don't. But in this case, could Sheena be onto something? I don't know. But let's listen.
I mean,
I don't think that's talking shit.
I definitely think the mainstream media should be covering these videos,
Thank
but
you.
they're not. I find that odd.
Me too.
Why?
Because it's totally something that like TMZ would cover. So like, why aren't they?
On a 10-year-old case that's closed and over?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. To me, it was very newsworthy. Absolutely.
These are not new things, Perez. We've known about these videos. These videos have been talked about.
But they were never shown, so it is newsworthy. Because when you start listening to what she's saying over here, you get to know the real truth, and you get to know the real gypsy. Let's keep going.
Forever and a day. I don't know why people are acting like this is some big bombshell.
I mean, I had never seen them before, and it was
nobody saw.
It was pretty eye-opening, especially because, well, so I'm genuinely curious. So, like Bree, my assumption is that you fully believe that Gypsy was abused by her mother.
Absolutely. Yes,
And what do you say to the people who make the claim that, she has this medical condition and she really wasn't abused by her mother?
Well, I say this, that you're invalidating abuse when you have no idea. There were 2 people in that house. One of them says, I endured trauma and abuse. So who are you to say that didn't happen? You don't know. You weren't there. What I do.
Big Sheena, you were not there either. Who are you to believe a sociopath is telling us lies? She's lied about every single thing. Think about it.
Do know is the girl that I'm friends with today is one of the kindest, sweetest, most loving and giving people I've ever known in my life. She's not who she was 10 years ago.
Oh, bullshit.
None of us are.
Okay. Y'all put on your wading boots because this fixing to get real it's going to get real deep and then like some nasty, shitty water here because this person cannot see the truth. But let's keep listening. She's going to tell a bunch of garbage. Here we go.
Oh, not. I mean, God, I can't even tell you how bad I was 10 years ago.
Oh, we know. We already know.
I mean, and to me, these people that are doing this now, where were you 10 years ago? I was there. I remember when this case first broke, okay?
We do too. We remember when this case first broke. We all do remember, Big Sheena. You weren't the only one. Here we go.
Where were you crying for justice for Dee Dee?
Have you had a relationship with Gypsy since she was in prison?
No. I've known Gypsy for about a year or so.
Okay.
About a year and a half.
She doesn't even know her. She's claiming that she doesn't know her. So how do you know anything that she's saying is the truth? Come on, Sheena. What's wrong with you? Get a grip here. Jesus. Ugh.
Now, but I'm a criminal justice student. I'm working on my doctorate degree.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay. She's wasting her time getting this doctorate degree because she's got her own record. Hello. Oh my God.
So we study cases all the time. I was very aware of her case and what was going on.
Oh Lord.
And it was an election year. That's insanity because that prosecutor got so much flack that he would have went hard for her if it were about the election. What he did was decide to humanize someone and say, this girl was put through trauma and abuse, and I think this is a fair sentence here. You know, she has to do some
No, that's not
time
what happened.
for the crime.
Not what happened. Listen, let me tell you how it really works. The judge does not make the decision. That's not, they work out a plea agreement between the prosecutor and the defense attorney. The judge just simply says, looks at the law, he looks at the whole case. He doesn't even really know all the facts of the case, to be honest with you. And then he decides if he wants to accept it or not. And if it's a reasonable plea, then he will accept it. She got charged with second-degree murder, so this was a reasonable plea. That's what happened. In their opinion, but not mine.
But this is fair.
I mean, there was no trial, so like these videos have come out. Are there?
There was no trial, so none of this information was out. And Gypsy's attorney was trying to help her by telling her to take this plea, because if all of these videos would have came out back then, she would not be out of prison. She would still be there. Here we go.
Sorry, let me thank some people, and then we'll do another, and I'll ask more questions. Hold on. Thank you so much to Taterbug.
Oh, hang on.
Beth called to serve. Nicole on the follow everybody that I said I would. Followed you. Okay. So
hang on.
Videos, which if there were a trial, these videos would have been part of evidence. Did this DA have evidence that the mother, Dee Dee, abused Gypsy?
I don't know what actual evidence he had.
No, they did not. They quit investigating Gypsy's part when she decided to accept the plea. Then they turned their focus onto Nick Godejohn, and Gypsy totally threw him under the bus. That is what happened there. Here we go.
That would be for you to ask Bree about. I can't tell you he had this, he had this, he had this. I can't answer that to you honestly. So that would be something to ask Bree. And actually, she said to ask you when you're finished talking to 1980 millennials if you'll speak to her.
I'll speak to her right after this.
Okay.
I have notes. I have questions from my live stream from earlier.
I want you to understand. I was thinking last night after we talked, I thought, you know what? Sometimes you don't have to say anything. Just let people show you who they are. You're going to see. You open the door and you walk through it, and you're going to figure this out.
You don't have to say anything. People will show you who they are. Yes, ma'am, they sure did. Every one of you has shown us who you are. You are the company you keep. I want you to think about that statement. Here we go.
And I don't really have to tell you anything about anybody. You'll figure it out. You're smart enough.
But you met Gypsy through social media that connected you two?
I actually met her through Bree, in a sense. I started listening to Bree's live.
You got to wonder, were they all over there doing math together, and then they decided that they would just go ahead and be friends with Gypsy. They'd try to hook up with Gypsy when she got out because they all wanted their 15 minutes of fame. Is that what's going on here? I mean, something. I mean, who are these people?
I liked how thank you guys, how she spoke facts and backed it up with proof.
No.
She didn't just talk out of her ass. So I started hanging out, and then I went up on panel, and then I went up on panel again. And before you know it,
and before you know it, I am best friends with Gypsy, and I am getting all this credit, and everybody wants to talk to me. And I'm so important now, because now she has main character syndrome, just like Bree and just like Gypsy. They're all the same. Here we go.
Entire community, this group of women and a couple of men, became my sisters. They're like my second family.
Okay.
And I met Gypsy. I'm going back to Louisiana next week. I'm in the mountains of Tennessee. I've been down 4 or 5 times. We hang out. We have fun.
I've been down 4 or 5 times. We hang. How well does she really know her? She doesn't. It's not like they hang out every day. gosh.
We're friends and I support her. And as a survivor of trauma and abuse, you recognize it in another. I see it in her. And I know that she's being honest with me. And that's all I need to know.
So I'm also just trying to understand, like,
yeah, right.
After just 2 days, I think, and I could be mistaken.
I don't think you are.
But it's my assumption or my observation that Gypsy has spokespeople, like friends like you and her friend Bree, do you guys regularly go on lives and get her side of things out there on her behalf? Or is this something that you're doing independently?
Yes, Gypsy has a group of mouthpieces that go out and repeat whatever it is she wants the narrative to be, right? And the whole group is over there telling this, the whole group is sticking to some lie that never happened because they think if they tell it enough times, it's going to be true. But guess what? It's not. That's never going to work. Here we go.
Independently. Gypsy doesn't tell me, hey, say this, say this. Don't go on this live. Don't go on that live. No, there are things that she has told me privately that I know I will never say on a live. But what I do say, I'm comfortable knowing that I'm not betraying a confidence with her.
Sure.
People will even say that we get paid, okay? That we get paid to be her friend, to be her handlers, whatever you want to call it.
Bree said it herself. I'm like her manager, right? That she said it herself. Come on now.
Yeah. I'm being paid.
And do you make content as well, or you're just doing the live and part of the live universe here?
I do make some content, but I'm not monetized. I don't make any money.
Okay.
Not interested.
Well, not yet. You don't.
And you said you're studying criminal justice. Because I'm sure people that are not people of opposing thoughts might have shared information with you. Can you acknowledge anything that maybe the other side got right?
Well, they go off of hate, lies, innuendos. People will say
No, hello. The truth train is not going off hate and lies. The truth train is going off the FOIA that has brought out the facts that were never seen before. That is what is happening here. It has nothing to do with hate and lies. It's truth. It's get her off of social media. Stop. She does not need to be a role model to anyone. She needs to be thinking about her own child and sit her ass at home or get a job. Gypsy Rose Blanchard.
If I post something, this, and I know they've heard that from a content creator, and I know for a fact it's not true, but they heard it. So once they heard it, they're running with it like it's gospel. What you need to understand about these videos is they're taking bits and pieces of these videos instead of the entire content. And I'll give you one for an example. The whole video where it's like she offers her daughter at 13, blah, blah.
Yeah.
If you listen to that entire video, she also says, we're vampires and we're going to have to teach the children not to reveal that to people and not to say that in front of people. So do you also believe that vampires are real too?
No, I said.
No. That's not what that's about. What that is about is her inner self and her thoughts of the world and the thoughts of herself. This might be a fantasy that she talks about, but it is the reality that she would like to have. That is what this is. That is what it is. They're not just playing a game here. These people having these, when we watch these videos, these are the real people. Deep down in their soul, these are the real people. Okay? That is Nick and that is Gypsy, two sociopaths.
Listen, I am a real person. I mean, I'm real. I keep it real. If you want, my video is still up on YT on the tube this morning when I was discussing things. I said to the chat, I was like, a lot of this seems like role play to me. Like really, like, you know, out there role play, but it
Role play of a 23-year-old, 24, 25, and a 20, 21, and 22-year-old. Role play. Okay? Role play. Adults. These are adults. Now, we know that Nick has the mind of a 15 or 16-year-old boy. Good Lord. Okay, I can't stay on here much longer, but anyway, I'm going to give it about
seem like,
5 more
you
minutes,
know,
and then I got to go.
I don't know
But anyway.
how legit everything could be taken. Let me thank everybody. Hold on one second.
No, I don't want to hear you.
Thank you. Okay. Do you want me to ask you more questions, or should I go live with Bree?
Well, I just wanted to say this very quickly. These videos were meant to try to embarrass and humiliate Gypsy. Gypsy's
No.
already lived.
These videos were from a FOIA request, which is perfectly legal. And if she is embarrassed, she should have thought about this when she was making these videos.
Through this. She has a child now. She has a partner. She has a family. She's moved on with her life. She's not committed any more crimes.
She's not moved on with her life. She sits over here on social media all day, refuses to try to get a job. She got no counseling, no help. She didn't need it when she was in prison. She said, I don't need any of that. So she comes out not learning a damn thing. She starts right up with the same old thing, grifting, free things. Basically, I mean, did you hear the live the other day when she was asking for money because she wants to do IVF, because she wants to guarantee that she gets a boy? Now, how much, what kind, ridiculous. Ridiculous. That is the real Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Here we go.
She did her time. So I think the effect that they intended.
Well, and I said that yesterday. I was like, I said that yesterday.
Well,
I was like,
not
you know,
working. She's one of the strongest people you'd ever know. And she holds her head up high and walks with grace. And I admire that in her, because a lot of people would have folded and crumbled. I was reading the comments as you were thanking people. She's scared, and they called her a P3DO and this and that. She's not scared. She's one of the people who has the least fear in this whole thing, because she's not denied what she did. She went and testified on Nick Godejohn.
She's not denied what she did. Well, I don't consider myself a schmurderer. I mean, I might have been there and I might have participated, but I'm not the one who did the act. No, you freaking planned it, you stupid bitch.
Behalf, and was not made to. It wasn't part of her plea deal. She was not forced to, because she felt like that was the right thing to do. And she was very honest about the things that happened. And
she still lied in court. Oh, Lord. No, that's not the reason why she testified. That's not it at all. It's part of an agreement, I'm pretty sure.
And people are so, you would think that these people actually know her, the things they say, and they've never spoken a word to her. And if they ever did, they'd probably fangirl all over her. People are two people that you were thanking, I was listening, are completely obsessed with me. And that is just the truth of it.
Obsessed with you? Obsessed with her? Good God. I told y'all, I hope you have your wading boots on, because the shit is deep.
I have that effect on people, Perez.
No, you don't.
Is your friend, is Bree live? Is she live now?
Character syndrome.
I don't know. Can somebody find out if Bree's live? You know, just let me end with this. There came a point in this case where I was reading and I stopped and I thought, you know what? I don't care. I don't care about anything else. I know what I need to know. I have enough information on board to understand what's happened, and I don't care. I don't care about these videos. I don't want to stare at my friend in her
as somebody who
underwear. I think it's weird and sick. I don't care about these videos.
Good God.
So as somebody who is, this is the thing that I go back to all the time. She had a choice.
Amen.
She could have just left. She was 22, 23, 24 when all this went down. Something around like, why didn't she just leave?
When you've been indoctrinated with something from the time you can remember.
Bullshit. Bullshit. We've heard it. We already know why she did what she did. Because her mother was very ill and she didn't want to spend her time taking care of her mother. She said, well, you know, I might have been there 10 or 20 more years because my mom was sick. I'd had to take care of her. Remember that whole conversation? Shut up, Sheena.
Remember being alive, and this is your normal,
Oh,
and you
Lord.
have people. How many did Gypsy have slumber parties? Did she go to people's houses and, go to birthday parties and all that? She did not have the social system that a lot of us have.
However, I've watched enough videos.
Thank you.
I don't know if
Perez.
she was homeschooled or went to school, but it's clear that she is not dumb.
Right.
She's somebody that's I would describe as capable. I don't know. Just the fact that she did as a 22, 23-year-old, she didn't just leave. If what she was alleging, that still is hard for me to comprehend.
I get that, but if you understand trauma and abuse, you understand it, because I was in a domestic violence situation when I was.
Sheena, this is not your story. This is Gypsy Rose Blanchard's story and her lies.
Was very young, and I left him. This man put me through so much, and I was in complete fear that he was going to unalive me, to the point where I thought, I'm going to lure.
You see how they had to cut part of it out? There you go.
Because only one of us is coming out of this alive.
You hear that? You
And I
hear
told
that?
my sister,
Only one of us is coming out of here alive. Mm-hmm. All right.
I know he's going to unalive me if I don't do it first. I was that terrified. And my sister said, don't you dare say that. You come to me, I will help you. See, I had someone that could help system. So who was she? She ran away with
Big Sheena, where's your husband? What happened to him? Want to tell us what happened? Okay, there you
3
go.
times, and every time was returned home.
No. She didn't run away 3 times. She was, oh my God, where she ran to Dan's house, that roommates had to call and said, come get your kid. Get her out of here. She doesn't have the right to stay here. Good God.
People knew she could walk. She went to Dan's house, walked out of the house in front of people. Nobody thought to help her. Nobody thought to say anything. She
If you don't ask for help, nobody knows you need help. Ain't that right?
was alienated from her father, so she didn't feel like she could.
Her father chose not to be in her life at any time. Based on what we heard, Gypsy could have went with her father. In fact, at one of those vacations, Gypsy and Dee Dee thought that he was coming to pick her up and take her on vacation. But instead, they were just going to do a few things with her, right? He never attempted to do right by Gypsy.
Turn to him. Just tell me who she was going to go to, and
the police.
The police is right. Anyway, all right. I've got to get off of here. It's time for our Friday night date that we have every Friday night over here at our house. You all have a good afternoon. Have a good evening. I think Sprinkler and I are going to come back live maybe Saturday, Sunday. I'm not sure. Anyway, as I always say, take care of yourself. Be careful out there and go hug your babies. Life is short. It's even shorter with them. Have a good afternoon. Bye, guys. Bye, guys.